lifestyle won't stop hustling.
What up, granddads and granddads? It's got a Black Abstract. You're locked in once again, and I appreciate you for it. What we're gonna be talking about today is Snowfall. Yes, we all love Snowfall, but one thing I want to talk about this episode or this video is the villains. Yes, the villains of Snowfall from season 1, and we'll do honorable mention in season 4 as well, because we really haven't truly come to realize who the villain is in season 4. So this will be my ranking, as well as just telling you who is the villains first. First, we'll get into the villains. Season 1, Franklin Saint enters the game, starts off selling weed, slowly transitions into coke, and then he is officially in the game once crack he discovers crack getting made by character played by the RZA. I believe his name was Waves or something like that. I forget. But the antagonist of this season, or the villain of this season, I should say, was it was actually a couple villains. One, it was Ray and Lenny. Those were the first villains. You remember he got robbed outside of Claudia's club? Those were the main villains, because the whole plot and premise of a couple of episodes or an episode or two revolved around them getting their money back, which they enlist the help of a local drug dealer named Carvel, who helps them get it back. And they had to go through some stuff. They had to watch some stuff to get their stuff. And not only do they get their money back, they get it taken again by Carvel. So now they have to get their money back from Carvel, who obviously has spent it all. He bought a car, some rims, and he's high and doped up out of his mind. So they kidnap him, and we all know what happens from there. You know, so it was a hell of a ride. It was a hell of an introduction for them getting into the game and seeing all the things that go along with it at an early age and an early stage, so they know how to handle this again if it happens. All right, season 2. The villain in season 2 was, believe it or not, Lucia and Oso, as well as Teddy at some point. But I mean, they smoothed that over quick. But the main villain in here, I would say, was Kevin. Yes, Kevin, Franklin Saint's right hand man. If Leon is his left hand, Kevin was his right hand. And when he decided to go against the family and give the cooking secrets to Lucia and Oso, he automatically ousted and was outcasted from the family, because he led with his emotions and he wanted to get revenge for his cousins that passed. Instead of just thinking logically and moving strategically, he was emotional. He was about to shoot somebody in broad daylight, and ultimately Franklin did what I think he had to do when he shot Kevin. And rest in peace to Kevin, which we see now that he's paying for that now. So yeah, Kevin was the main antagonist to me. Now I could be wrong. We could talk about this in the comments. You can post the comments. We could talk about this, but to me, Kevin was the main antagonist. Season 3, main villain was Andre. What better villain than somebody who lived next door to you, watch you grow up, is also on the opposing side of the law, and who is making it his duty to get you guys jammed up at any cost. This to me was probably the best villain that they had, being as though how close to home it was for Franklin, and that Franklin had a relationship with Andre's daughter, and he knew that, and he was using that to get at Andre and tug at his heartstrings a little bit. Season 3 to me probably was the best, but I'll do another video for that. I'll do all the rankings. What's my favorite season from 1 to 5. I want to wait till 5 is completely over before I do that, because hey, listen, I think 5 still got time to redeem itself. A lot of people are counting it out, but I still think it got a little bit of time to redeem itself. But yeah, season 3 was dope. We ultimately see what happens at the end with Andre, and then we see what happens with Franklin as a result of what happened to Andre. So the villain being Andre, it trickled down to his daughter, and she was the villain at the end as well. So great season. Favorite episode was obviously the male cracks episode when they trying to find Mel. That was my favorite episode of the season. We got introduced to a couple of new characters, Drew and Man. So yeah, all right, season 4. We all know who the main villains were. Franklin didn't have no damn villains until he decided he was gonna go against one of the other opposing oppositions between Man Boy and Scully, and he chose Man-Boy. And when they didn't get the job done with Scully, Scully became his enemy. And then quickly after that, Scully and Man-Boy were his enemies. He had two people that weren't even on his radar, all of a sudden coming for him and his, like they say. And we see that what the end result was. Franklin and his smart witteds had to overcome, and they wind up coming up on top, killing off Man-Boy, Khadijah, and almost Scully, but they wind up making amends with Scully. So we'll see what happens. Now, season 5, gotta give an honorable mention. We don't really know who the villain is. We could assume Teddy's the villain. A lot of people saying Louis might be the villain. A lot of people saying Kane are the villain. So until the next 2 episodes play out and we see what's really going on, it's hard to say. So far, I'm leaning more towards Louis, because Teddy's always been like this. Teddy's just being Teddy. Teddy wants to be low-key. Franklin don't want to be low-key. So Teddy is just trying to control him the same way Franklin likes to control other people. But let me know what you guys thought about this video. Who do you rank as the best villain? Now I'll do my rating a tier from best to worst. Obviously, season 2 had the worst villain because, killing your best friend is never cool. And the way that story played out. And I think Malcolm Mays is a great actor. I would have loved to see what he would have did or been doing later on in the seasons of Snowfall as they unfolded. So I'm going to put him last as the villain. And Lucia and Oso, I hated that storyline from season 1 to season 2. Oh, it was so horrible. That's why a lot of people say they can't get into Snowfall because of these first 2 seasons, because it's so slow paced when it comes to the other stuff that it's not enough for Franklin and the crew on screen to save it. Obviously, we see now there's nothing but Franklin and his crew on screen. Funny how things change. So next villain I'm ranking, I'm gonna go with Lenny and Ray. Obviously, they got Franklin. They caught him slipping, but these guys weren't really a threat. We seen that when Carvel did what he did to him, and Carvel wasn't really a threat either. Franklin and Leon just didn't have the heart that they have now, so it was a different story. All right, next, Man-Boy and Scully. While I love Man-Boy and Scully, they weren't that really dangerous. They posed a threat, but they didn't really try to hit Franklin at all like that. They shot Wanda in the mix, and then as a retaliation, we see they lost their daughter, and then after that, everything fizzled out. They kind of fell back. As great as these characters wasn't really a threat to the Franklin St. Crew organization. All right, number 4. All right, my favorite villain to me was Andre, man. Andre's storyline, the way he folded out, the way it played out, to me was great storytelling. It was the best season. And like I said, it hit close to home for Franklin, so I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, and we'll see how this season plays out. I'm not going to put season 5 in here yet, but we'll see how this plays out. Let me know what you guys thought. Push comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe. Let me know who your favorite villain is each season. And as always, stick around for my Snowfall reviews every week, Wednesday. Peace.